Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another stream here. I'm Ghostwolf from District 53, and a lot of you are wondering what is with this slew of new updates. I know a lot of you guys may have just seen, but Crossed Server Guilds is now live. You can now access and join your favorite friends' guilds from across the servers and actually now have the ultimate chance to play with your friends. Now, there are some things that are obviously different. There are some things you can't do. Yes, you cannot fight them in arena. However, in some of the actual cross-server style events like Sails and Sabers and Summertide, you can now participate in those specific events. So now you've got plenty of options available to you, and hopefully you take advantage of those while they're available, because they might make changes, and once they stop making changes and start, I can't tell you what's going to happen from there. It can be anyone's game at this point. But let me bring you back to why you're really here. We just had a bunch of new things get added to the game. We are right now just beginning in the Christmas event, and we had the new Acuna clan that has just been added to the game. Now, I can go ahead and tell you right now that based on what we have seen early on in some of their stats, we're talking something big. This is amazing. You really can't get any better than this. But let's go ahead. We're going to explore each of these champions, and then we're going to jump in, and we're going to see if we can acquire them and possibly even acquire the companion. You guys know me. I haven't had very much luck in these last pulls, but hey, anything goes here. I might actually get some luck this time. I'm going to probably need to go get 4-leaf clover in the backyard because I'm going to need all the luck I can get. But first, let's explore the male Acuna. Passive ability, Acuna's Polar Blessing. Once per 9 seconds, casts Icy Ward upon the weakest allied champion. This includes the caster themselves for 3 seconds. This in turn reducing the protected ally's damage taken from ultimate attacks by 35%, while also recovering Constitution by 5% of their max Constitution per second. Icy Ward cannot be removed. If it is cast when the caster is in Ice Phoenix form, they recover a total of 150 energy. Now, this is once per 9 seconds. Can't be dispelled. So every 9 seconds, this is being cast. And, well, it's being cast either on themselves or the next weakest allied champion. This can help for a lot of us that are rocking healers. It might not be the strongest when it comes to that, in a sense, but it's also going to come down to when it says weakest, I would assume it is meaning total strength. Active skill, you're looking at Frosty Cage. Creates an ice zone in the current enemy target's direction, lasting for 5 seconds. Enemies within the zone take damage equal to 150% of the caster's strength per second. With the healing effect, they receive reduced by 60%. If the enemy stays within the zone for more than 3 seconds, they will be frozen for 2 seconds, ignoring controlled immunity. Allies within the zone recover Constitution by 150% of the caster's strength. If the zone is created while the caster is in Ice Phoenix form, allies' chance to take critical hits is reduced by 30%. Whoa, that is very different. We are looking kind of what I would say feels like some male ho vibes here, where it's creating a field or creating a zone in a sense where your enemy is taking damage, but it also has great buffs. Maybe not ultimately the best if you have a lot of champions that are outside the ring, as I call it. If they're distanced and they never actually get into the zone, they're probably not going to get those same benefits. But it also depends on the enemies. If it's cast on enemy rushing forward to all your champions, well, good chance everybody's going to get those main benefits. Then we have the ultimate skill, Arctic Domain. Transforms into an Ice Phoenix, dealing damage to all enemies equal to 650% of the caster's strength, inflicting Arctic Domain upon the entire battlefield for 7 seconds. During this period, enemies will be frozen for 2 seconds when they cast an active skill. There is also a 15% chance for them to be frozen when they use normal attacks. The freezing effect ignores controlled immunity. I mean, I don't know, y'all. I'd have to say, based on just that information right there, we are definitely looking at a pretty big threat of a champion. Now, during this little animation, we watch him actually deploy his ice field, in a sense. So you get an idea of what you're getting whenever he does specifically deploy that. So it doesn't look like it's a gigantic AoE, but of course we'll have to find that out for ourselves. Let's look at the female. This is a little bit different. We look at the male over here, we see ice and fire, but we're really not seeing that much from the fire perspective. We're definitely seeing more of a kind of ice perspective, and that's super obvious when you're looking at them. Now, of course, the female, there's a little bit more going on here. I could definitely see more of a fire aspect to her. Let's take a look at her skills. Her passive is Acuna's Burning Glacier. This is interesting. We've already got the mention of some flames here. Gains 25% lifesteal when using normal attacks or skills. The caster will consume 25% of current constitution to cast a permanent shield, also known as permafrost, with an equal amount of health. When the caster's permafrost exceeds their max constitution, it will be converted to their current constitution and increases their max constitution by 100%. In this case, the caster also enters Pyro Plume status for 10 seconds, during which their skills will be enhanced, and each normal attack deals additional damage equal to 8% of the current permafrost shield's health. This is interesting. The only reason why this is interesting is there's not a specific timer on this skill. I know some of you guys are reading this wondering, does this keep going on forever? I don't know. The only thing we have a time limit on here is Pyro Plume, which it says status for 10 seconds, during which their skills will be enhanced, and each normal attack deals additional damage to the current permafrost shield's health. We'll have to take a look at that and see what that's ultimately going to look like. Let's take a look at the active skill, Shattering Ice. Deals a 3-stage strike, each stage dealing damage to a random enemy target equal to 170% of the caster's strength, plus 10% of the current shield's health applied by permafrost. In Pyro Plume status, each strike triggers an explosion on the target and deals the same amount of damage to nearby enemies. Very interesting. That is very interesting all around, specifically for what we're seeing here. Now, the active skill we're looking at is Permafrost Bite. Grants and activates an 8-second permafrost shield to 2 allies with the lowest constitution, including the caster. The shields share the same health of the casters, but not lower than 20% of the caster's max constitution. The activated permafrost shields will take 25% reflected damage in Pyro Plume status. The activated permafrost will be enhanced when in Pyro Plume status, and you're dealing damage to nearby enemies equal to 8% of the shield's current health per second. All I see here is damage, damage, damage. Great mitigation there, because it says the activated permafrost shields will take 25% reflected damage. Interesting. Very interesting. So all in all, definitely 2 interesting champions to have. The question, will they be able to perform exactly as we need them to? That's going to be the ultimate question. Both of them have what looks like some pretty amazing skills that are going to set them aside from what we currently have in our lineups. They're very polarizing. One of them is definitely probably geared more to take on a Soul Keeper, while the other one's more geared to take on a Water and Sun. That's great, but most large accounts are running both of those units in their team. So, might be something we need to look a little bit further into. That is, that could still be a hit or miss. We'll definitely have to see kind of what that's going to end up looking like. Based on that information, though, these are definitely going to be 2 champions you want in your lineup, whether one's on your main team, second team, or third team. Don't miss the opportunity. These guys are amazing from what I can see. Let's take a look though. I'm really curious, obviously. The biggest thing that we really need to check into is, can I acquire the companion? I got the last one. I've gotten all of them, but every single time we see a new champion and new companion set come out, I've got the worst luck. I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I'm getting them well after 400 pulls. So let's take a look at that and see if there's any chance. But before I jump into that, I would like to explore some of the newest events that they've just brought out. The biggest one, obviously, is Phoenix Rising. That, of course, is, as you expect, you're going to fight against this clan to acquire just a copy of them, but also some additional stuff for the free-to-play accounts. This is definitely going to be the first thing you're definitely going to do when you log in today. Now, Snowman. Kind of the same thing that you can expect with most of the actual seasonal style events. With the seasonal style events, you're going to end up purchasing. You either get the basic rewards or the deluxe rewards, and you invest this little item up here, which is known as Snow Pile. You'll use the Snow Pile to increase the snowman's size, and it will level up, giving you all of these items eventually. With that in mind, this is huge. The mask is in the basic rewards section. This is not common, y'all. We've seen most of the masks are generally locked behind quite a bit of stuff. But don't get excited just yet. We may be excited that it looks like this mask is not locked behind a paywall. I'm sorry to say, y'all, Goat did what they usually do, and they made sure to put the other masks behind the paywall. So if you were hoping to get all of the masks without really having to do much, sorry guys, it's not an option. They have already kind of thrown that in your face and said, hey, that's not an option. If you want it, come get it. Now, I don't know if this was a bug. It looks like it was. I did have the previous top-up event was still present on mine whenever I logged into it, but it looks like it's dissipated out. Not uncommon that we're still seeing bugs in just about every single update that comes out. So, not surprised. Now, outside of that, you have your normal style events. You have Eye of the Abyss, your new Divine Wheel. They did bring out a new outfit. This is the new outfit, which is Frozen Phantom. This is going to be for your female choir. I don't know how good this is going to be. Honestly, it's just going to depend on what you're looking for. But it definitely adds a different aspect. I mean, we're looking at doom and gloom. And we're seeing something a little bit different. We've gone the Ice Queen route. I don't know how I feel about that. She's generally a character that's just the graveyard in a sense. The Soul Reaper in a sense. Somebody coming up back from the grave and just beating the crap out of you. Now we're giving her ice abilities. Where's the instrument? She was the choir. So ultimately you see them playing instruments and such. This really isn't the case now. So definitely an odd route, Goat. I would love some explanations on why we've gone this route. Definitely going a little bit away from what the character was originally created as. Now, your jigsaw puzzle is back. Yes, one of the masks is hidden in here, which is the Yeti mask. You will have to get the new champions to be able to start your path along here. Ultimately, that's correct. If you want the mask, you're going to have to 15-star it. If you're out of roses and you couldn't get the companion, well, you're either going to be doing a lot of summonings and you're going to run out of stones, or it's just going to be a really painful process. So that's the reality there. We also have the garden. Those of you that remember it's kind of like the festive garden in a sense, where you're planting plants and that's how you're acquiring, roses and other things. We're going a little bit of a different route. Moving forward, what they're going to be doing now is gems. I ultimately don't know why we're going just the gems route. I did find that the bouquets were kind of a really nice item, but the gems, you are now getting, in a sense, more value for the smallest amount of money you're spending, which is actually pretty good. There's a lot of free-to-play accounts that might drop $50, and this is now an opportunity for them. This opportunity is going to give them more diamonds that they can actually use in the value store. This will allow them to compete in some of the normal server events, especially now since you have cross server. There's the one thing to understand though, even though you have cross server, if you are participating in the events, they're still locked to your server. You are not transferred over to this server, you are still on your specific server. Remember that. It's important to understand that so you don't go crazy and spend where you don't need to. But without further ado, let's jump into the summoning circle and see what type of luck we got this week. All right, we're going to go for the first summon. Right off the bat, we got at least one. That makes me happy. We'll see if I can get another one on the next pull. Wow. Okay. This is unorthodox. We are at 7 of 60 shards, and we've only done 2 pulls. I would love to see more pulls like that. Hopefully it's not going to just throw me into the you're not getting any more shards till the very end style. Looks like it might be trying to head that route. Okay, we're at about 8 of 60 right now. Not ideal, but better than none. Man, oh man, what do we got? Nothing. Gosh. Okay, we've got another one there, so that puts us at 9 shards so far. Oh man, that was a terrible pull. Wow. Not looking good, y'all. Not looking good. Same type of luck as last time. Not a lot of options. Oh, we've hit 10 shards. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it this time. We're definitely still bottom of the barrel luck here. Goat needs to unnerf my ability to pull these. We're at about 12 shards so far, and we're at 150 pulls in. Wow. Nothing. Okay, we got a 5. We're at 17 shards now. It's not terrible. Okay, 18. It's not terrible. Definitely still behind the normalized curve I'd like to be at. We're at 20 now. This is generally a little bit better than where we're usually at. We're usually not hitting 20 until we're getting to the very end. 21. Somebody call blackjack. 26. Wow. Nice. I think I'm going to stop at 250 and see where we're at. Let's take a look real quick, y'all. Sorry, I'm skipping the animations. If you're already here during the beginning, you probably have already watched them and might not want to watch them again. But hey, if you've already used that wonderful invite link in the top right, you've already watched the animations because you are also in the game and exploring all the new features. Let's take a look and see where we're at, y'all. I'm betting we're almost at 50. There you go. We were at 51 of 60. We are 9 away from the new companion. This is amazing. So we're guaranteed 5 here in the next 2 pulls. If we can get another 5 up into it, then we've got it. All right. We need 8 more. Ah, unlucky. We only need 3 more now. Will we get it before 300? Looks like it's going to be a close one. The final pull here at 300, and nothing. We did not get the companion in 300 pulls. We are 3 shy. Well, I guess we'll see how many pulls it takes to get him. There it is. We are 320 pulls in, and we now have the companion. I see we had some bets here, 240 and 280 pulls. Well, great news. Rom, you're 40 off. And I'm sorry, Eric, unfortunately, you are 80 off. Rom, you are the closest. Maybe we'll make a consolation prize for that. Let's go ahead and go over and unlock the companion. Definitely going down the ice path here. She looks a little bit smaller in comparison to most of the other companions we have here. Her image is definitely pretty tiny. Well, I mean, I guess if they're going for the bird aspect, they've definitely nailed that on the head at least. So we'll definitely have to explore a little bit further when it comes down to that. Oh boy, of course they're going to be in here somewhere. I wonder how vastly different the female image is to the main, or the male. See, the female's kind of got that crown look at the top of her profile. Let's see what the male looks like. So I hear it was kind of complicated seeing which one was the male and which one was the female when it came to making. I mean, I say it's pretty obvious. I think I can differentiate pretty well. I guess that's up to you. Chat, you guys can kind of make your own opinion here, but it seems pretty straightforward. Well, the fun will begin shortly. We're going to have to go through the process of actually leveling these guys up and taking a look and seeing how good they really are. I can just tell you right now, just off of a level 1 perspective. Let's see if we have somebody set up that we'll just we'll try them out with. Because I can tell you that even at level 1, they're definitely not going to be that great. And I understand, of course, I've got a lot of my stuff set up, so that way I have a decent chance here. I'll have to come back and probably make this configuration, because I'm going to forget it. Those of you that also forget your configurations, I completely understand where you're coming from. I guess the female mythic I got really wasn't that strong compared to the male. She is nowhere on this list. We're scrolling, y'all. I ain't got nothing. There she is. Now, these are just level 1s, y'all. There's no skills done on them. There's nothing. Obviously, I've got sprites, and that's probably going to be the biggest advantage on why they're going to do so good. Pay attention right there at those little ice spots that were appearing on the ground there. You can see just off of a basic pull here, when it came down to absolute damage, the male's definitely winning. I think we can expect that based on his stats and based on his skills. I can definitely foresee that he's going to be the main damage dealer out of both of these. However, it's one thing to keep in mind that each one is very unique for how they function on a team. It's very important to understand that because each one functions differently, you may have a benefit on one comparatively over the other. Now we look over there at the female. Look at that shield. Wow. That's nuts. That's wild right there. You're joking with me. Oh my gosh. Don't get me wrong. I mean, these are just level 1. Yeah, they've got some capability here. But the fact that these are level 1 and they're kind of scary with how they're functioning there, especially that shield over there on the female. Like, I feel like I'm looking at something incorrectly to be seeing that shield. That's a huge shield bar. Doesn't even make sense. Well, she just transferred in her ultimate. I don't know what's going to happen from here, but it looks like the damage is starting to rise off the chart a little bit there. You can slowly see it ticking up on every single champion. Oh, there it goes. Pretty much right then and there. They've just melted everything at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, it would be kind of crazy if one's casting ice and the other's casting fire, and then all of a sudden, because you're casting fire, it just instantly melts your enemy. Oh, wow. Now, of course, this is only an example, y'all. Yours will be a little bit different because you'll probably power yours up. But the male's over here doing 1 billion damage while the female is at almost 800 million. One thing to pay attention to, though, that defense stat. You cannot beat that. She has so much defense. It's ridiculous. You are literally sitting there fighting a shield. No thanks. That's not for me. That's nuts. I guess if you're trying to run a team where you might be able to time somebody out, that might actually be the team to do it with. However, one thing to still pay attention to and keep in mind, just because a champion has a huge shield doesn't mean they're unkillable. You have to keep in mind we have other champions out there that, in a sense, can bust through shields very quickly, or they do enough damage quickly enough that they can eat through the shield within a reasonable amount of time. So, take that as you need, take that as you will, but you've got some new homework to do and you've got some new options out there. Explore these new champions that are a part of the new clan and participate in the Christmas event if you're looking to get some rewards. Now, it's been great for y'all joining me. This is one of the very first YouTube live videos done through the new streaming system. If you guys want to come say hi and come drop a follow, you're more than welcome to. But come join our Discord. Connect with us. We're all one big happy family. And hey, if you don't like us, well, I mean, I guess it is our barbecue. More food for me.